Right, so how do you get the best growth out of your colocasias? Well, I know most people will just chuck them in the ground, water them loads and give them plenty of feed, and that will work well. But I think you've got to look at the nature, right plant, right place situation, and these are really, obviously we know they're a water loving plant, but if you see them grow these as a crop, they grow them sort of at the edge of rivers and streams, just in really shallow moving water, and they do like to have their feet wet. Obviously they don't want to be submerged, but I'd definitely say they're more of a marginal than just a straightforward border plant. So if you've got a pond, they are excellent choice for a marginal. So this is my bog filter to my little goldfish pond. When I say bog filter, it's literally just a pre-formed pond filled with gravel. Water gets pumped in through a, probably can't see it, there's a little pressure filter at the back there. The water gets a little bit of a filtration through that, and it comes into this gravel bed, and this is probably nearly 2 foot deep, so there's quite a lot of gravel in here. So I've got the pressure filter comes into the bottom of the gravel, so the water raises up through the gravel and filters through, so you get a lot of good bacteria build up on the gravel. But obviously you still get a lot of nutrients from the fish waste in the water, so it's a perfect opportunity to grow marginals or water loving plants. So this is how I get the best growth out of the colocasias. So I'm not going to go through all the different species we've got in here, because we've got quite a few. I've already done a video on different types I'm growing. So we're just looking exactly how we've placed them. So really, in previous years I have just literally got a bare root plant and stuck them in the gravel. That works fine. But if you do want to move it, or at the end of the year when you want to pull them out to overwinter them, it can be a bit of a hassle. And I find that they do just as well in a smallish pot. So the roots will just grow through the bottom of the pot, still grow into the gravel, and get all the nutrients they want, and they've got that wet level to grow into, and then the soil obviously stays wet continuously in the pots. Obviously the downside to that is you can see the pot, so I have divided up a big tub of creeping jenny I had, so I'm hoping that in a short while that should spread and sort of cover a lot of the area, and maybe cover the edges of the pond as well, and just disguise the plant pots a little bit. But again, with the colocasias growing and the leaves hanging down, that'll disguise the pots as well. Yeah, so we've got various colocasias in here, and we've also got a canna lily, because they do like having their feet wet as well. They grow really well as a marginal. Excuse the background noise, I don't know what that is. Someone doing some work somewhere. Yeah, so also the advantage of having them in a pot, I do find that the water level in here does fluctuate, just due to the fact we've got outlets going back into the pond, but you quite often get sort of birds come in here and have a little drink and splash about and disturb the gravel, so you could get a big bit of gravel or something. I have got sort of a little plastic grid over the outlets so they don't get blocked up, but the birds will still come in and knock the stones about, and if you do get one of the outlets blocked, I've got full outlets sort of going back into the pond, but if one gets blocked, then that can raise the water level slightly, and obviously I have got a big overflow, if you can see that, so that'll kick in if the water level rises. So in theory this could raise up an inch or two, depending on what's going on with the gravel and what birds have been kicking about. So in that situation, if I have got one little pink china planted straight into the gravel. But the chances are, if this water level rises up, that you could rot out the stem of that, so you don't really want it underwater. So that's another reason why pots work quite well, because you've always got that buffer. There's never, water level's never going to come above the top of that pot. So it's like a safety thing as well, so you don't rot out your plants. And then, like I said, finally at the end of the year, they're a lot easier to pull out in a pot because you can just lift them. Obviously the roots will be into the gravel, so you just shake the gravel off, cut the roots, let them dry out in the pot, and then you can dry store them like that, or remove them from the pot. So yeah, it's just a little insight to how I grow some colocasias, and I always get the best growth out of these ones. Like I say, no watering, no feeding, no maintenance really. Just let nature do the work. And I'll keep my little pond crystal clear as well, by sucking up all the nutrients and waste out the water. So yeah, this is I did put these pots in probably a couple of weeks ago, so most of these colocasias since going in have started pushing out a new leaf, so they are growing. I know this is half in shade at the moment, this is fairly early in the morning, so this will get a good 8 hours of sun through sort of mid-morning to late afternoon, so that gets a good amount of sun, constantly moist. You're going to get the best growth out of your colocasias that way. There's a couple of species I've not tried before, especially not in this situation. This one at the back, this is Jack's Giant, so they get pretty big. I've always had it in the border in the past. Last year it didn't do so well due to the cooler summer we had, so that'll be an interesting one. And I've never tried the Thai Giant in here as well. I know these can get massive, but this one's slightly more at the back, and it does get slightly shadier conditions, so we'll see how that does. It's already started to push out a little leaf there, but I've noticed we've already got a little baby pushing out the side of that as well. I thought this was quite interesting. If we get right at the back here, we've got a pink china which is pushing out the flower, and it's not that big, the leaves at least anyway. So I've never really had a pink china flower for me, so don't know why it's flowering so early, but there you go. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll give it a couple of weeks and see how things are growing. What's going on here? Just heard a bit of rustling over here. See if we can creep up on him. Big fat frog. You don't want to be sitting out in the sun too long, I'll tell you that. Oh, there we go. He's quite a nice one. Yeah, I'll move along. We'll put him somewhere in the shade because he's going to dry out too quick in the sun. Right, so that is how I get the best growth out of my colocasias. Let me know if you've got any secrets to growing the big leaves. I mean, I know it's not really a secret, it's just plenty of water and plenty of feed, but this bog filter's doing the work for me, so like I say, I can just sit back and watch it grow. Right, thanks for watching.